Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday, September 18th, 2021. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. My name is Kamau, and I am half the pair of Kamau and Felix, Sports Talk with Kamau and Felix. And it is another beautiful Saturday, and we're going to have us another fun field and a high pace and lots of craziness show as always. I want to thank you for joining us. I want to thank you for coming out this Saturday morning where you can be doing lots of other things, but you are here with us. And I and Felix and I are very, as always, very, very, very grateful. And thank you for supporting the Love Stuff platform with this being the sports wing. And it's something we do every other Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central. And just before the sports day starts for in the East. And just glad to have you guys here. We're going to be talking about college football, NBA, NFL, and of course, a little bit of stupid sports news, as we always do. So right now, get on the phone, call your friends, tell them, hey, come on and Felix on the radio, on the internets, call the barbershops, call your aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, all your sports fans. Tell them to come on, join us on here. We are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We'll also be on delay. So when the show is over, you can always go back and look at it, comment if you want, and we will always come back and acknowledge what you say and discuss things from there. It's an interactive show. It's not just us talking. It's you when you come in and you make comments. We comment on your comment, and we make sure we acknowledge that you are here because it's not my show. It's our show. It's on the internet. The internet is out there for everybody. As long as we keep it positive and not be taking anything in a negative frame, we're going to make sure we move forward with it and discuss it beautifully. So as always, we want to start by saying thank you again. And also, we want you to go out and get this book, Gratefulness Journey Every Day, by the proprietor of Sports Talk, which is Mr. Marcus Holmes, that young man right there. That young man right there, look at him. Please go to Amazon, order the book. And then when you get to Amazon, you can follow Mr. Marcus Holmes there. And please buy the book. And we are being joined by the incomparable Mr. Felix Holmes. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Ready.
How you doing there?
You all right? Yeah, I'm all right. You all right?
I'm all right. See, that boy got that fresh haircut. I see you. He ready for the show.
Glad to be out here.
Man. I go every other week. This is my off week, but I'm at the 7-day mark, which makes it still good. Once you get to the 10-day mark, once you get to that 10-day mark, you got to make sure you go get it.
You get that 10-day mark. You get marked absent.
Definitely. All right, we're going to get right into it. We're going to jump right into some college football. And we're going to start with Ohio State and Clemson. Both of those teams taking it on the chin. Clemson did recover with a victory. Ohio State took it on the chin in their second game. Can they recover and still have the seasons that they are looking to have, that they've had traditionally? We're going to start with Ohio State first. They play Tulsa, 3 p.m. Eastern today. I think that's a good wake-up game, a good return game after playing and losing Oregon last week. I think that'll help them to get well again. But they still have that same season. I think that they can, quite honestly. Playing in the Big Ten, they are still really talented. They just have to come together. They have a new quarterback, and I remember watching them that first game when they played Minnesota, and I said I see some cracks in the shield this year. And Oregon came in and they were able to get the victory, but they are still really talented. Because I know that sometimes that'll help you. A good loss like that will help the humble team sometimes and help them build towards where they want to get. And I think that'll help with a whole lot with that Ohio State team. But top to bottom, player to player, I don't see a team like that in the Big Ten. I know that Penn State are very good this year. I know that Michigan's looking good. Michigan State's looking good. All of those teams are in the same part of the Big Ten conference. So they're all playing each other this year. And of course, Wisconsin's always going to look like something, and Iowa always finds a way to beat a couple top 10 teams every year. So what you think about that, sir?
Oh, wait, child. Oregon. Where did they play Oregon? They play Oregon at home. Okay. Oregon came. Everybody had ruled Oregon out because their two major people on defense didn't play. So I think Ohio State got caught looking. I think they thought, well, okay, we gonna go out here. We just gonna beat them because they ain't got they two top defensive people playing, which most teams will. You overlook that as, okay, we're gonna be able to do what we want to do. Then when it became to the point of, you got to remember, you starting a freshman quarterback. So now it becomes to the point of, he never been in this situation before. He done went to Ohio State. They come in highly ranked. They return it. They probably got the best the best receiver core out there. So now you putting him in situations he's not comfortable in because he's a freshman. Although that comes in maturity, as time goes on. I mean, they still the favorite to beat in the Big Ten because they own the Big Ten. I mean, the only team that really probably will give them a chance, we'll give them a good shot, will be Penn State. Michigan not doing nothing. As long as that guy with them brown khakis on the sideline, ain't going nowhere, man. That's fool's gold up there.
I was thinking, my thought process was Michigan, they're starting off with their preseason like they normally do to get a chance to get their wings upon them. The wing helmet up on them pretty strong. And as they get towards that November 27th game, maybe they'll have an opportunity to be ready for that game. I think it's going to be a great game this year. I think that there's any year that Michigan would have an opportunity to catch Ohio State would be this year. But we'll see. We'll see.
I used to go up there. My cousin graduated from there. I used to go up to Michigan to pick her up with Michigan State stuff on. They'd be like, you at the wrong school. I'm like, no, you at the wrong school. Like, take that stuff off.
I've done that myself.
Our relationship is getting better because we started to think like each other.
I took my whole family up to the University of Michigan when Delta had Delta Day in Michigan Stadium, and everybody had on Michigan State stuff. And it was hilarious because
we're starting to bond.
That's right. They was not happy with me, but it was okay because that was in the middle of the time when we had beaten them like 3 or 4 years in a row, so they couldn't say anything.
And you know what's so funny about them? They always got an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
Wait till you get his quarterback. Wait till you get his running back. Oh, his secondary was hurt. Oh, we got to get rid of the defensive coordinator. I'm like, how many excuses you gonna get, man?
Here's my favorite Michigan excuse. This is my favorite excuse. And we played them 10 times out of 10. We beat them 9, but this is just the one day that they beat us.
Right.
That's my favorite one. All right. Can Clemson recover? They play Georgia Tech. The ACC is not very strong, so they're gonna look good at the end. They'll have to wind up playing probably Notre Dame again in the championship game, and Notre Dame has positioned themselves in a great position to be right there at the end by playing a quasi ACC schedule with their independent. Even though they're really independent, they don't really want to join the league. They join leagues in every other divisions and other sports but football. Of course, that's smart because they hold the cards when you have a big contract from NBC.
Absolutely.
So when you can stay independent, but you can come. I'll play with you guys, but I'm still gonna take my football and go home, and I'll even share a little bit of this football money that we get from NBC. So it makes sense to them. All right, can anybody knock Alabama off that perch? I don't know. Some boys look good. Alabama looked good. And when they jumped on Miami the way they did, didn't hurt that quarterback was talking smack, told the whole world that they was going to beat Alabama. I didn't find out until after the game, so that wasn't very bright for him.
He barely beat Appalachian State. Go sit down somewhere.
Yep. And
I'm gonna tell you like this. Like Stephen A. Smith say, Aaron Rodgers is a bad man. That Uncle Nick is a bad man. Uncle Nick is. But you know what? What's funny? Could Uncle Nick turn Michigan State around like that?
Yes, he had. He had turned them around like that. Those recruits that were there.
On a national stage like that, though.
Yes, they were there.
You really think so?
Yes, when they went to the Citrus Bowl that year, and they were what 11-1, and then the next year they went to another big bowl when Bobby was still there. Those recruits were coming, and but the only thing is Michigan State didn't want to acquiesce to some of his demands in terms of the control that he wanted. Had he stayed there, I think we would have had a chip. I really do.
You think Michigan State would have been national champions?
Yes.
In football.
Yes, we were on our way. If it didn't work out,
let me ask you this: is somebody sitting right there that got you scared?
Well, you think I'm not gonna speak up for my school? Even in my heart of hearts,
I'm with you. I'm a diehard Michigan State fan. I'm with you. I bleed green with you, but come on, man. Now we searching.
No,
you really think? Listen to how that sounds. You're a national champion, Michigan State. Smart. Basketball, yes. Football, come on, man. That don't go together. That's like grits and ketchup. That don't go together.
You hurt my heart.
I gotta be honest. I'm being honest.
I'm being honest too. I think had Nick stayed 3 more years, we would have had a national championship. Quite honestly, I'm serious.
By what year?
That was 2000 when they won the Citrus Bowl, and they were 12-1 when they finished that season. I'm thinking by 2002, 2003.
So who won the 2003 national championship? I think went to, was it Florida State? No, it might have been Florida State. That would have been that would have been Famous Jameis? No, that would have been way before that. That would have been that would have been Ohio State with Claret now. Yeah, that would have been Claret now. Or that Miami team. That might have been one of them Kane teams. They wouldn't have beat one of them Kane teams. No.
It'll be fun to try and find out. That's for sure.
Fun to try and find out.
2-1
won't go.
You never know. You don't know. Right now, we're saying if it was the 5th, we'd all be drunk. This right.
So if the 5 would have stayed all 4 years, they might would have won a championship. Right.
That's a whole nother conversation.
There you go. You got to get up early to get me now. You got to get up early.
Right. Today we got U of M with a noon start with Northern Illinois. Michigan State is down in Miami right now, and they're on the ABC. They got a noon start as well. That's the national game today. I think that game was supposed to be a night game, but since, I don't think because Miami had a poor showing against Appalachian, I think they moved them to the noon game. I was supposed to try and get down there to Miami, but it didn't quite work out. I'm gonna tell you what this next question. I'm gonna say that for later. I was gonna say do we want to talk way too early about who's gonna win the Michigan State, and Ohio State Michigan game? But I'm gonna say that in the interest of time. I want to thank Bruce Hughes for coming out. Thank you, sir, for joining us this morning. If you got any questions, drop it in the chat, and we'll make sure we address it. Thank you, sir, for coming out. Don't forget to click like, click share, and get on the phone and get everybody to come take a look and hang out with us this morning. TJ the King is here. Good morning, young man. Good to see you, sir. Appreciate you coming out. This is Felix and Kamau Sports Talk with Felix and Kamau right now. We are moving into the NBA. We're going to talk about the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame they had the inductions just this past week. And a few notables is Rick Edelman, Chris Bosh, Paul Pierce, Bill Russell. He's going in as a coach now. He's already in as a player. Ben Wallace, Chris Webber, and Jay Wright. We're going to talk about a few of them. We're going to table Chris Webber to the end. We're going to give him his due by himself as a Detroiter. That's going to be our last topic of the day. But my question is, Paul Pierce is, in my opinion, is a Hall of Famer. Was Chris Bosh a Hall of Famer? Was Ben Wallace a Hall of Famer? Much as I love Ben, was he really Hall of Fame material? I think that's an honest question we need to have today. Chris Bosh, was he a Hall of Famer? I know he got 2 chips down in Miami. I know he kept his team together in Toronto, and I know that he unfortunately had to leave the league because he had the heart issue. But I'm on when I say I don't think I'm stepping out there by saying I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. Was he a good player? Yes. Was he a Hall of Famer? I don't know. But when we're looking at the NBA, he would have to say yes because there's a lot of NBA players that are in the Hall of Fame that are borderline, suspect at best. And I think Bosh falls into that category. And I like Bosh. He led when he was in Toronto. He was averaging 30 and 15 just about, and with the frame of plastic, man, like the guy, the kid out of UNLV back in with that kind of a frame, and just a hard worker. And nobody has a bad thing to say about him. But you can definitely say that much.
Okay,
When he lost that first game.
Let me ask
Go
you
ahead.
this. What's your definition of Hall of Fame?
If I'm looking at a Hall of Famer in any league,
Okay.
it's like Deion Sanders say. When you say that name, and you say Hall of Fame, is there any question in your mind? Do your mind automatically say, "Oh yeah, Hall of Famer"? I don't get that with him. Did he do some? He had some great years. Yes, he did. Was he a first team All NBA guy? Was he? I think he made one or 2 years. But his playing ability and his talent doesn't say to me Hall of Fame. And
Okay.
here's why. This is my biggest argument. You go to a team with LeBron, D Wade, and yourself. You the big three, and you the third.
Okay.
Does that make you a Hall of Famer?
That's right. That's where I was going, because I was like, okay, so let's just say he never signed with Miami and he stayed in Toronto. Would you still say you're a Hall of Famer?
If he would have, it would have been tough. He would have had to put in 5 to 8 more years at that level. Barkley type numbers and still not win one for me to say yes for him.
Okay, because that's where I was going. I was saying, well, he went to Miami. He came. He made the big three. But when you really look at it, was he really the big three? Because I mean, Ray Allen was there. You know what I'm saying? So was he really the big three, or was he just part of? He was robbing to Batman. He was robbing to LeBron and D Wade. I mean, let's be real. Was he really the big three, or would you say Ray Allen was the big three?
Well, he was more like Flash than Robin.
He more like the guy on the sideline with the Aflac duck.
I'm not saying he wasn't a good player, but he was a good player.
Yeah, he was a good, hands down. In Toronto, he was a good player. Yeah. But once you say, once again, what like they say, quote unquote, these super teams, and he was supposed to be part of the super. Nah, because remember, when they aligned the super team, that first round, they lost. They lost to Dirk.
They lost to Dallas.
LeBron looked at D Wade like it was your fault. D Wade looked at LeBron like it's your fault. Chris was like, really, the scapegoat was Chris, because then nobody. That's what I'm saying. Was he really a three? Because then nobody blames Chris. So that's my argument.
Very true. Now let's look at our hometown favorite, Ben Wallace. Is Ben Wallace really a Hall of Famer? He is. Much as I love Ben, that's a no. But did he earn his way as a great player, first undrafted player ever to make it to the Hall of Fame? Was he a key cornerstone for the Pistons for all the years they went to the conference finals and the championship that they won? Yes, he made the Hall of Fame before Big Shot, before the man, Big Shot. You know what I'm talking about.
Robert Horry.
No, not Big Shot Bob. The point guard who knew coach up
Chauncey Billups.
Before Chauncey and before the guy who wore the mask. He made the Hall before both of them.
Rip. You can't put Rip in the Hall. Rip don't.
I don't think Rip's a Hall of Famer. My point is, I think Rip's contribution was bigger overall over his career than Ben Wallace. Ben Wallace's career was specific really to just the Pistons, where Rip had good years in Washington as well as in Detroit. Well, when Ben went to the Chicago, Ben was pretty much kind of almost
I mean, when you're talking Ben went to Chicago, it was over. The trend was off the tires then.
And at that point, his wrist was totally gone.
The reason why I say Ben is a Hall of Famer is because Ben, if you look at Ben was the same thing as Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman wasn't going to give you nothing on offense.
Right.
He wasn't going to give you nothing on offense. He was going to give you the hustle, the D, the defensive rebounds, the offensive rebounds. That's what Ben Wallace did.
Mentality.
Right, that's what Ben Wallace did. That's Dennis Rodman again. Just a bigger size of Dennis Rodman. Now, I say that's why you put him in the Hall based off of that. But
right.
The overall body of work, yeah, I mean, yeah, you know.
Yep. We want to thank Brian Cooper for joining us today. Eddie Cooper Jr., thank you for coming in. We're discussing NBA, the Hall of Fame, and we just discussed Chris Bosh. We pretty much consist that Paul Pierce, without a conversation, has deserved his way to make it into the Hall. We're talking about Chris Bosh, Ben Wallace. Okay, here's a good question. Chris, what is who's better? Who would you select over the two for the Hall of Fame? Pierce or Ben?
See, I got to go with my alumnus because I went to Kansas, so I got to go with Paul. Although I think
no, Chris Bosh. I'm talking about Bosh, not Paul Pierce. Bosh over Ben. Paul, if you choose them, you got to choose between Chris Bosh and Ben Wallace. Paul Pierce. That's not even to me. That's not a question. He did it consistently. Bosh. He got it in the end, but he put up big numbers. The California kid did his thing.
You said if I had to choose, who would I choose between Bosh and Ben Wallace? Ooh. Can I take a vow? Can I phone a friend? Let me think. Quickly, off the top of my head, I don't know, man.
Give me 10 seconds. While you thinking about that, sir, I want to knock the LinkedIn group, drop your name in, let you know that we're here, and what are some of your favorite teams, whether it be football, basketball, anything like that. We want to make sure we're acknowledging you and thanking you for coming out today. And while we're at it, make sure you click like, click share, and make sure you go out and get this book, Gratefulness Journey every day. Mr. Marcus Holm, that young man right there. Go on Amazon. Order the book. Is not very expensive. You can have it in a couple of days, and it will turn your life around. And we are in the middle of a discussion through our NBA time right now. And a question on the table is, if you're having to choose between which Hall of Famer to actually make the walk into the Hall of Fame, are we going with Chris Bosh or Benjamin Wallace?
All right, okay, give me Ben.
Yeah, I would have to go with Ben. I like, but Bosh, before he went to, I'm not taking anything away from him. He was a bad boy. He was putting up numbers. He was that guy. What's his name say? Mom, here come that man. He was that man.
But when he goes that man, right?
Yeah, he was smart enough, I should say, to go to Miami and play a role that got him an opportunity to get some championships. And after that, he got paid when LeBron left. They gave him the max contract and went out on medical and still got all that money. So
still got all that money. He won.
He won. Had that been the NFL and he went out on that medical, he wouldn't have got very much of anything.
Nah,
they would have bought him out at a much lower rate. But that's just how the NFL does things. It's a whole different ball game when you're talking about the NFL. All right. Speaking of the NFL, we're going to move forward to the NFL. I have a correction. Please forgive me. Cam Newton did not sign with Dallas. He is still a free agent. And he is now he's now in the podcast world. He'd already had a podcast. His podcast has gotten himself a little bit famous right now because he interviewed his dad, and in fine Cam Newton fashion, he pretty much was interviewing himself, giving his take on why that New England Patriots let him go, and in a lot of ways, I understood what he was saying. At that point, if you're gonna make him a starter, you really do have to let him go. And which is what we talked about last time. Is there a distraction with Cam Newton being there? Yes, there is. With his flamboyancy, with his attitude, with his whole aura, which is what we kind of talked about before, which makes sense. You got to let that kid shine. If you're gonna elevate him as a rookie, if you're gonna get a backup quarterback, you don't need him as a backup quarterback. because of everything that he's done and everything that he brings to the table. You can bring in, I don't know, anybody. I can't say anybody, but not him. You need what you need, and that's also going to hurt him getting re-signed also into the league. At some point, somebody really will probably need him because quarterbacks go down every year. And will he get another opportunity? He might. But I think he hurt himself a lot with that podcast.
I didn't get a chance to see it.
I just saw the highlights. I meant to go back and watch it last night, but I got to see the highlights. But when the NFL more than anything else, they want you to be quiet. I know that those political pundits talking about shut up and dribble. The NFL is pretty much a shut up and play league. They don't take too much kindly to guys going out and being themselves and doing interviews and stuff like that. Because you look back at T.O. when he did stuff like that, he was vilified.
Yes,
vilified, and it still sticks with him to this day. The things that he did and just the reaction, I should say, to what happened to him. So I want to make that correction, and I hope he gets another chance. Honestly, I do. I could see him being needed, quite honestly, in Baltimore. I do.
No,
I can see him being needed in Baltimore. What's his name? A little fumble prone. The kid out of Jackson. He fumble prone. He's a great baller. He can throw a ball on the rope. He can skip out the pocket. But when you're running around with the ball like it's a loaf of bread and they barely tapping it out your hand, you got to work on that. And a lot of people were making jokes about Jameis Winston in the offseason doing that drill where they were just hitting his hand with the pad and you looking downfield, calling out the number that the coach is putting up so he can focus downfield no matter what the hit was, because he had trouble with that before he left Tampa. When I first saw that drill, I'm like, that drill don't look good, but it's not supposed to. And I'm glad that he did that, because why? He's a starter now. He just put up some big numbers last week.
Yeah.
And I see he's going to, and I predict that he's going to continue to do so. And then he's going to dance afterwards like, yo, let's do it. All right. We had a poll out there this past week for Monday night, the Lions and the Packers. We got make sure you please go in and join the poll. I've already weighed in on it. I think that the Packers are going to get well against the Lions, like they normally do. Everybody gets well against the Lions. Now, my friends that work were like, well, the Lions almost came back. I was against the third string. That game was over at halftime. It was 31-10. Oh, they almost came back? Okay.
I mean, look, with that being said, they almost came back. I said, you know what? And in light of that, they almost came back. They were down 41-10. They didn't roll over, did. I say, so in light of that, I say for today, I'm going to go ahead and for today, I do Mr. Swift for today. Just because. I said, just to add to it, I said, I'll go ahead and, right. I said, right. See, I told you, our relationship is growing. This is what I like. I said, I'll go ahead and put the jacket on with it too, just to, Then I said, well, I got to get to the shoe part. So I said, well, with the shoe, I just do something like this, just to,
all right.
Yeah, just to let people know I can do it.
All right. I didn't quite get to the shoe level.
But I'm not a Lions fan.
I hate to say this, I will always be a Lions fan. It's something about them boys. Ever since I was a little kid, of course, that's my hometown team. And I have some other teams that I keep up with that I cheer for, on the side. But that's still my main squeeze. The Lions and Packers at Green Bay at Lambeau Field. If there's ever a chance to beat them in Lambeau, it's in the fall, before it gets too cold.
Didn't they beat them in Lambeau before?
It's been a few years. It's been a few years.
So it's been maybe 5 years, something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
That's what I thought, because I was trying to remember. I was like, they did beat them before in Lambeau. But like I said, your boy, Mr. Marcus, The year they went 0-16. He used to ask me every Sunday, "You want to go to the Lions game?" I said, "Man, we go to the Lions game, we going to jail." He's like, "Why are we going to jail?" I said, "Because I'm going down there with whoever they play, I'm going to have that jersey on. I'm not going to have the Lions jersey on." We used to sit back and laugh all the time. I'm like, "Man, I'm not going down there." Look, the very last time I went down there, true story, I can't make this up. I ain't that good. I had Joey Harrington was the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Harrington was the quarterback. Steve Marinucci was the coach. True story. I had the gray jersey on with the Honolulu blue. We go to the practice. They booed him in practice. I took the jersey off and gave it to my man. I said, "I would never come down here ever again. I've never been to Ford Field." My godson played for Cass Tech. They won the state championship 3 years ago. I didn't go in. I'm never going down there, ever.
I will go if I get a chance. I think I went to a couple games this season.
Shot down there. Never.
I think I went to a couple games that season. I went to the Joey Harrington game where they came back at the end and the kicker missed the field goal to put it in the overtime. I was at that game. And I was
ruined your life. You know, the Lions just ruined your career. We kept Matt for 12 years. They should name the Detroit Lions a new soap opera. You know what the soap opera should be? One Life to Ruin. Had one life to live, one life to ruin. Because that's what they do. They ruin your life.
Yeah, they pretty tough on us. They hurt my heart all the time. And I try my best not to be so invested, but I can't help it. I really can't help it. All right, we got some notable games this weekend. Buffalo and Miami in the AFC North. Buffalo lost to Pittsburgh, and Miami beat New England, and they're in Miami. I was really shocked about that. I was really shocked. Yeah. New England normally lose to Miami in Miami, not in New England. It's like every other year they go down to Miami and Miami put it on. But Miami beat them soundly in New England. So we're gonna see that's a notable game. Now the comeback game, New England versus the Jets in New York. That's the I hate you game where Belichick hates the Jets so much that every year he tries to run the score up on them. So that's not. And then the third most notable game of the weekend, Kansas City in Baltimore. Kansas City, the comeback kids. Came back last week against. I forget who came back here, but they came back in the last minute and beat. I think was
Cleveland.
Beat the Browns. And Baltimore gave that game away on Monday night where he could have just held on to the ball. And the Raiders, but that was a great game. That was an exciting game where the Raiders won the game twice in overtime.
Right. My advice to Lamar Jackson. I like Lamar Jackson. I think he's a superb athlete, nice quarterback. Stop trying to make this against you versus the quarterback from Kansas City. Just go out there and be Lamar Jackson. Mm-hmm. Go out there with the physical and the special talents that you have, and just go out there and play ball, man. You not him. So you don't even see what I think he gets caught up in, the comparison. Just be Lamar Jackson. The win's gonna come just like the loss is gonna come. Mm-hmm. In order to take pain, you got to be able to give pain. In order to give pain, you got to be able to take pain. Just go on and stop trying to make it against you and him. The Holmes. I'm sorry, that's his name. Yeah, stop trying to make it against you and the Holmes. Just go out there, hit your reads, read the defenses. When ain't nothing in, like my man used to say, when in doubt, run straight out. And just you will win. But he keep getting caught up in, is the Holmes better? Is Lamar Jackson better than the Holmes? No, that's why your name is Jackson. His name is the Holmes. Just go out there and play ball.
Yeah, I want to acknowledge really quickly Mr. Byron Stanfield, Valerie Colbert, Asuedu. I hope I said that name correctly. And Andre Harris. Thank you guys for coming out this morning. We are in the middle of our NFL discussion for the weekend where we touched on Cam Newton not getting re-signed as of yet. The big games of the weekend: Buffalo, Miami, New England, and New York Jets, Kansas City, and Baltimore. And we are talking about right now the game probably the best of the three, in my opinion, is the Sunday night game, Kansas City and Baltimore. They're in Baltimore under the lights. And, of course, you're going to have Baby Ray on the sideline. You know that Air Reed's going to be out there somewhere running around. In Kansas City, you got the great coach, I call him the Walrus, but he lost some weight. You got Andy Reid. Andy Reid. You got great Mr. Mahomes over there. He is he as always. He's doing well. Kansas City last year got caught, in my opinion, napping. Why I say that? Because I don't think they were always motivated for every game going into it. But I think this year they're hunters again, where before they weren't hunted. And if they can solve that problem they had with those tackles, losing those top tier tackles, if one of them can make it back, and if they get that kid, the doctor back from I'll have to check in the doctor that stayed in Canada, their guard, the second year guard that they had when they went to the Super Bowl the first time. I think that would help them a lot as well. Offensive line, people, no matter how good Mahomes look, if you don't have nobody in front of him, he's not gonna be able to do anything. All right, we got to get back to our predictions. We never finished our predictions for the AFC. So we're looking at the Titans, AFC South, Titans, Colts, Texans, and Jaguars. That's the last year. That's the order that they finished last year. Titans with that running back. The Colts with the old man who retired and they not have a new quarterback. The Texans with their mini quarterback situation that they're having, and the Jaguars. Who do you see? How do you see that turning out?
Tennessee got smacked in the mouth pretty good. I mean, who was that? Minnesota beat them? No, who beat them? I can't remember who beat it. They got knocked down, right? But you know what? It's like you said, it's a bounce back game. First game of the season, you're trying to feel your way through it. They got beat. I think they're gonna be all right. I think Tennessee will finish 1. Then 2 will probably be something there after that.
I think that the Colts can actually go first.
You got who?
The Colts can go first. I think I think so. Because it takes a lot for that, for a team to get as far as they go that they've gotten over the last 2 years and not getting over the hump, and for them to come back after that first game and not play as well as they should have. To me, that's a little bit of a red flag. When you got the best running back in the league and one of the best offensive lines in the league. I think that's a little bit of a red flag. The Colts have that coach over there. I can't call their quarterback's name, but to me they remind me a little bit the Washington football team. Ron Rivera just wins games no matter who he got out there. He finds a way to make it happen. The Texans should come in second. Say again?
Carson Wentz. That's the coach. I mean, that's the quarterback, Carson Wentz. Yeah.
I think the Texans, if they're smart enough to go ahead and play the quarterback, Deshaun Watson, they can come in second. We all know there's something coming down the pipeline. But in the meantime, you got to pay him. In the meantime, he's still on your sideline. Go ahead and put him out there. And if he gets cleared at that point, then you can go ahead and trade him like you want to. Even though he wanted to be traded first, and they didn't trade him. But it's okay, use him for that's what one of my sayings. Use them for what they use him for. So go ahead, put Deshaun out there, let him do his thing, get the victory. Because at the end of the day, it's still a business. You're in the business of winning games, unless you're trying to get the number 1 pick next year. And at this point, I don't think anybody's really separated themselves, running back or quarterback, so far that's looking that good. Of course, Alabama always got somebody good over there. Jaguars gonna stay on last.
Plug and reload.
Pretty much. Jaguars gonna stay in last place.
All right.
And I would be surprised if the coach makes it through the bye week. If the bye week's on the second half of the season, he might not make it through. And I have to look at their schedule.
You think they'll fire Urban already?
They don't like him. Nobody.
They don't like Urban. See, I didn't know they didn't like Urban.
Yes.
They don't like Urban.
I've been getting a lot of reports about how he don't know how to lose. And in the NFL, you're gonna get them losses. Nobody goes. There's only one team in the history of the NFL, and that was in 1972, and they went 14-0. That was Miami. They went 17-0, including the Super Bowl. But shoot, New England was one game away from it, and the Giants took that from them.
Right.
Nobody, it's put like this. It's rare that this is going to happen. It's not rare like a 4-leaf clover, but it's rare, very, very rare that somebody's going to go undefeated. And they didn't do well in the preseason. They lost their first game. There's reports about how he's taken over drills from coaches. He had alienated his staff. He'd already alienated all the players. But I never thought he would go to the NFL. I just thought that at some point he would go ahead and take that job in USC once that became available. I always thought once he left Ohio State, it was just a matter of time before he went to SC. And with SC having all this trouble that they were having all the time, that he would just eventually go there. And he blew up at the press conference this week when somebody asked him about the SC coach getting fired after the game. And so he had a fit about that. So it's to me, it's just a matter of time because you're coaching grown men. You're not coaching college kids where you can say, I'm gonna send you home and take your scholarship back to the hood.
Right.
Okay. Okay. You can't say that to grown men. You can, but it's not gonna. You make an example out of one guy, like they should try to do in Detroit, and the whole team gonna shut down on you. And so you can do, trade your top B back if you want to out of Detroit, and send them to the Eagles and see what the rest of the team did. So he's on that track.
Right.
And I'm not saying I'm not really saying I'm feeling bad for him because you got to understand the transition from what you were doing before to where you are now. And a lot of college coaches don't get it. The guy who came out of Florida and was at South Carolina, the old ball coach, he couldn't.
Steve
What's his
Spurrier.
name?
Steve Spurrier.
Spurrier couldn't get the transition.
Okay.
So it's going to be a little tough. All right. AFC East: Bills, Dolphins, Patriots, Jets, and that's the order they finished last year. I'm actually looking at the big Dolphins. If they can win today, Dolphins playing against Buffalo. That's the top matchup right there. They're in Miami tomorrow. That's probably why they also made the Michigan State game the early game, so because they got to turn that stadium around because they both play in the same stadium. I like the Dolphins being number one this season. Bills 2, Patriots 3, Jets 4. But if the Jets beat the Patriots tomorrow, I can see them being in the 3 spot. I don't see them making the playoffs.
It's great, yeah.
So we got those 4. What you think about those 4?
I agree with you about the same because if you like you said, the Jets beat them, it all goes out the window then.
Two are playing very well, and I knew he would. We had the opportunity to draft him, but we didn't. But that's another heartache story for the Lions that I don't want to go into. Thank you for joining us, Miss Erica Hampton. Thank you. That's one of my cool peoples right there, Miss Erica Hampton, the sports lady. I'm sorry, Miss Erica, we already discussed your Wolverines, and we have actually already discussed the Lions, but I still want you to stick around and give us some comments, comment on what we're talking about, Miss Renee Jackson as well, and we're going to definitely make sure we understand what you're saying and comment back to you. Thank you so much for coming out this morning. We are now talking about the AFC North and what the predictions are for winning that division. Steelers, Ravens, Browns, and Bengals. In that order, that's how they finished last season. I'm looking at Steelers, Browns, Ravens, Bengals, and Bengals, in my opinion, just might slide into that 3 spot. I like the Steelers to stay where they are. I really do. I think the Browns have a great opportunity to move up to that 2 spot. They made the playoffs last year. I like the Ravens holding down 3 spot and probably getting a wild card. But the Bengals will have a better season this year.
No, Bengals last. First will probably be it's a flip between Cleveland and Baltimore. So I'm gonna say Baltimore, Cleveland, then Pittsburgh, then the Bengals.
Ooh,
Ben, hey,
ooh.
Ben don't got it no more. It's over. The tread is off the tires. Ben
I
is
agree.
it's over with him.
I agree 100%. But I
And
think
who's
they.
the backup to Ben? Right. See? I don't know neither. See?
Oh,
That's
the
the
kid.
point.
I know who it is. The kid who got to the controversy with the guy from Cleveland. Uh,
You talking
uh,
about the guy who got the Mason kid that got hit with over
yeah,
the head?
Mason. Mason. Yeah, Mason's.
Like I said, I don't know neither.
But they still kept the kid from Ohio State, whose wife popped him in the mouth.
You talking
He's
about
still there. The
I know
quarterback,
you
the
talking
kid.
about the play Haskins, Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah, he's still there. So they do
But
have
they're
some
not gonna
capable
play
backup.
him. They're
Hmm?
not gonna play him. They ain't gonna play
They're
him.
not,
Come on.
no, they're
If
not.
Ben go down, God forbid, Ben went down tomorrow, they gonna go to Mason. They ain't
Yeah,
gonna
they're
go to
not.
Haskins.
Yeah. And Haskins did have a good preseason. I thought that he played pretty well, was able to keep the reads. But I would think that they would keep him for another year for when they know being gone, so they can have a good quarterback competition between Mason and Haskins next year. Because it's money that they don't have to spend because they both under contract. So I
That's
think
if
that's.
Ben. That's if Ben retired. We don't know if Ben gonna retire.
I think if Ben don't retire, somebody need to find. I'm sorry, I'm not wishing this on him, but I think they should do what's the girl name with the kneecap and the guy down at the Cobo Hall and the ice.
Oh, you talking about the Tanya Harding?
The Tanya Hardy. Yes,
Okay,
somebody
right.
might have to Tanya Hardy him and tell him it's time to go.
There you go. Violence. Right?
I'm not
Violence.
saying I'm being silly, but I think that's at least threaten them a little bit. Hey, you time for you to go. Then we know you made your money. You got you a couple Super
Right.
Bowls. You already gonna go to the Hall of Fame. You just got to
Right.
wait your years out. You may be one first ballot, second ballot, but it's there for you. But
Right.
it's time for him to go. And I'm pretty sure you understand that. All right,
Right.
NFC West. We got the Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers, and Broncos.
I'm gonna go Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, and Raiders. Raiders trash. You gotta get rid of Chucky. Man. Gotta get rid of Chucky. Chucky,
I
that
agree
was
you got to get rid of Chucky, but I still think they got a good enough team to come in third. 'Cause I think the Chargers are going to make a leap. That second year quarterback is balling. That kid is balling.
Herbert
He
is that
balling
guy.
last year.
Justin Herbert is that guy.
Herbert should. That's who the Lions should have drafted was Herbert instead of was it the same draft class with the defensive back? I think so. I
Yeah.
think we got it. So I agree with you. I like the Chiefs staying in first place. I like the Chargers going to second place. I like the Raiders in third, with the Broncos to round out. That's our AFC predictions, and we are rounding out the day for the day, and we are coming up on stupid sports news. Uh, I was remiss because I was thinking I kept all saying, "What are we gonna do this week for stupid sports news?" And wasn't a lot of stupidness until I remembered good old Stephen A. Smith getting rid of
Oh,
Max Kellerman off his show. Only thing I don't like about it, I understand that's his show. He feel like he been there long enough where he can call his own shots on people on the show. But why did that have to be so public? Why did that have to be
why did
so
it have to be so who?
public?
Because that's who Stephen A. Smith is. He's public. He wants to look. At the end of the day, it's a bit like you just said. It's a business. Max, much success. I enjoyed watching him. I enjoyed watching him, debate with Stephen A. Smith. But to some degree, Max was a little annoying. It's like, let's be honest, man. Max is a little like I wouldn't take no road trip with Max Kellerman. I've been there, pushed him out my car. Hey man, I keep hearing something. Roll your window down. I keep hearing, hey, I'm gonna pull over. Hey, I need you to check that back tire and see something. And I just drove off.
I thought
And
I
I
was
think
bad.
that's what it was. I think what it was. Like, you could prove Max Kellerman wrong, but he's still gonna be trying to be right. And it was like, dude, like, really? I couldn't see me I couldn't even go from here to Northland with him in the car. Like, now, you know, I'm gonna walk. Here's the keys. I'm gonna walk.
I didn't think that their styles matched, honestly.
Right.
Of course,
Exactly.
opposites attract, and they were still number one for 5 years, which is surprising to me because Shannon and Skip, that's my favorite show. I'm always trying to catch them. Shannon make me laugh with his crazy. And Skip is to me, he turns me off so much with the stupid stuff that he says. But I always thought that was a better show than First Take. But here's the fun part. They added different guest hosts throughout the week. And on Mondays after football, Michael Irvin will be joining First Take with his football analysis.
Like, okay, this is my question. Where do we sign? Where do we sign up so we can get on there? Somebody email Stephen A. Smith and let us get on there. Because the only thing Michael Irvin really got over us is that he played football. And he's an NFL Super Bowl champion. That guy, man, I be like,
I can tell you why he's a good draw. The two of them together, when they get to arguing, and Michael Irvin gets to sweating.
Yeah, he gets to sweating. Right.
He gets to spitting. Man, that's hilarious. That's good TV.
Like he looked like he went back in one of them classrooms. Like he just explained this problem. No, I really can't. But I catch the ball on a fly pattern.
He said a train goes 200 miles through Kansas, Oklahoma, and Nebraska.
Absolutely.
Although I ain't gonna be answer that.
Right. Somebody email Stephen A. Smith and tell him to let Kamau and Felix come on there.
I'm gonna tell you, I think they're gonna be a good match just because they argue so well together. I'll never forget they were in Dallas that one time they were arguing, and Irvin bowled up and started yelling and screaming, and he was sweating, and Stephen A. leaned back and started smiling, and took his and threw it at him like, wipe your face. Now that was hilarious. So I can see them bringing that back together. And we want to thank D. Klusterman, Carmen Evans, Corey Mildred King, and Bernard Jackson. Morning, Mr. Jackson. Good to see you, sir. Thanks for coming out. We are pretty much kind of wrapping up the show right now. We're in our Stupid Sports News. We're talking about Stephen A. Smith and the public movement of Mr. Max Kellerman off the show, and bringing in Michael Irvin. And I know that they're bringing in Tebow for a couple of days and a couple other people who at this point you got to fill a seat. So I agree with you. We're gonna send one of these tapes to ESPN of us.
Yeah, send one of these tapes and let us fill it.
Come on, we can do it. I got plenty of shirts and ties and suits. I bought a small suit, and we get on there. And we can do it. We can do it.
We can do this. Yeah, absolutely.
Bring another Detroit connection back to ESPN after they ceremoniously got rid of my girl Jamel Hill, but that's another fight for another day. All right. 5 minutes left of the show. We want to give a good 5 minutes to Mr. Christopher Webber, our own hometown gentleman who made it to the NBA Hall of Fame, had a great career, averaged 20.7 points a game, 9.8 rebounds, 4.2 assists, 1.4 blocks, and the points, rebounds, and steals, 1.4 steals for his career. And he made it in the Hall of Fame. And I'm very proud as a Detroiter. I never got to actually meet him. We were in the same vicinity a couple different times. We were, I graduated from Cranbrook. He was at Country Day. My final game was at Country Day in football, and we were in the locker room before the game. And he found he thought it was okay to come marching up in the locker room and let us know how Country Day was going to kick our tail. I was not happy with that. Yeah, guys, it's high school stuff. It's high school stuff. He came in, y'all about to get to work. At the time I was mad, but on this side, it's high school stuff. Would I have done something like that? If my coach wasn't around. If my coach was around, I would have got in trouble for it.
I see what you do on this show, so I can imagine what you would have did. Man, if you don't stop, Judge Brown say, you mean to tell me, sir? Yeah, you would have. Absolutely.
If my coach like this, as long as my coach ain't know, I probably would have did something stupid like that. So at the
Yes.
time was I mad? Yeah. On this side, it was high school stuff. But I'm very glad to see that he made it. He gave a big shout out to the city of Detroit in his speech. Only thing I would have asked him not to do was not to mention the money stuff from Michigan. That I would have just let that just go. But
You did it.
he said again.
You did it. You
Well,
created that problem at Michigan. You did it. Look,
I'm not
I'm
going to speak on
gonna tell
whether
you
he
like
took the
this.
money or not, or whether anything that
Look,
happened.
man.
I'm just
Come on,
saying,
man. We
don't put that.
come on. We grown, man. We know what we know what going on. Look, I'm gonna keep it like this. I'm gonna be honest with you on this. Look, I heard a man say this, and this is the realest stuff I done heard in the 46 years I've been on God's green earth. Man said, every day you wake up, you got two things in life. You got a chance and a choice. He took a chance, and he got to live with that choice that he made off of taking that chance. Be a man and say, look, I made a mistake. I took the money, I took the benefits, whatever. All that other stuff is nonchalant. Oh, this man exploited me. He took advantage of me. How? He came to you. You don't have to accept it. Come on,
Yeah,
Chris. Be bigger than that. You're a grown man. And then you lied to a grand jury. You're a grown man. And messing up is part of growing up. It's an everyday process. Just say, look, I messed up. The money was there. I took advantage of it. Okay, game over. But here you lied. Then you tried to. That's what messed your friendship up with Jalen. When
right.
you could have just been a man and say, look, man, I messed up. Look, who gonna turn down? Come on, man. We grown. We from
Right.
Detroit. Who
Right.
gonna turn down $100,000? Not nobody I know.
Mm.
The dude came in
Well,
here right now and said, here go $100,000. That was a good show. I might give you 10. I might send you 10.
I'll be happy with a good dinner.
See, I might send you 10.
We can go
But
to the Rooster Tail.
I'm not, but that's what I'm saying. If it ever came back to me, you did. See, if it
Right.
ever came back to me, there it is.
Right. I get it. I get it. Well, I'm just saying. I'm not saying he did. He didn't do it. The merits of that is that's a long argument. That's a barbershop talk. But for him to put that in his speech, to me,
Yeah,
sullied
right.
the day. To me that wasn't necessary. But I'm
But
very
my
very happy
question
for
to
him.
you, because you stated it early.
Okay.
What makes you say he's a Hall of Famer? Because what did he do?
I
It's
wasn't
the
going to
same
go there.
argument you had. It's the same argument you had earlier.
I'm
So
not going to
I'm
lie to
gonna
you.
put it to you, because to
You gonna put it
me,
to me? Okay. I wasn't going to go there.
no, you're not a
I'm
Hall
gonna
of
be honest
Famer.
with you. I feel the same way, but I
Okay.
wasn't gonna go there because I'm gonna give him his Detroit props. I'm gonna give him his what up dog speech, and I'm
I
gonna say,
told you.
hey,
I told you I get up
now,
early. You got to be ready. I get up
now,
early.
I'm be honest with you. I feel the same way you feel, but according to the NBA and how they are accepting people in the Hall of Fame, that makes them a Hall of Famer. If we're looking at standards like we do the NFL or Major League Baseball, I don't think he makes it.
Is Chuck in the Hall of Fame?
Chuck Daly,
No, Charles Barkley.
yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame. He's in the Hall
Okay.
of Fame because he's
It's
one
some
of the top
cats in
100 players
there,
of all time. He's in the top 100 of all time.
but that's what I'm
No,
saying. What at the body of work? What did what he didn't do nothing in Washington. He didn't do nothing with the Queens. I mean the Kings. He do that there. Yeah. Then when he came to us, they gave you a football jersey number. They gave you a number 84. Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. What body of work would I say? Yeah, Chris, yep, he deserved
I'm gonna give it to him on the love and being.
it.
Florida.
That's how
No,
you did
seriously,
it.
I agree with you 100%.
So you take
But
the fifth? That's if you're
I'm
gonna
not
take the
taking
fifth.
fifth. I'm not
Oh,
taking
okay.
fifth. My official answer is with the standards in the standards set by the NBA, he's a Hall of Famer. But I'm gonna go back to that question, the Dion question. When you say Chris Webber Hall of Famer, does that come to you? Probably not. And I hate to
Right.
say that because he's a Detroiter, and I try and ride for all my Detroiters. All right, we got to wrap things up. Thank you guys for coming out really quickly. We want to send prayers up for Byron Stanfield. He lost his brother, Jaron. He was a University of Toledo student, athlete, and chemical engineering grad. Also, prayers out to the Johnson family. Jonathan Johnson passed away just this past weekend. His homegoing service is starting right now. Upward Bound kid and Detroiter. He loved the Lord. He was a choir director, and he's going to be missed definitely in the community. Our next show is October 2nd, and we want to thank you all for coming out. Looking forward, we have a Christmas Day show coming. I'm really looking forward to that our Christmas show. The show falls on Christmas this year. So I want everybody to come on and make a big production out of it. We got NBA game, and I'm cooking forward to having that show. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. We really appreciate you. Thank you for coming out. We say thank you. I missed this shit.